Hello everyone, it's Nono here one more week, and today we're going to get started really quickly. I'm going to do today a follow-up with a previous project, which is basically building a drawing collaborative app. So it's an app that can allow us to draw with machine learning algorithms. It's still far from being finished, but today we're going to try to put it online so you guys can access it as well in a domain that you can type in your browser. All right. So as I said, let's get started pretty soon. Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. And yeah, for those of you who are new, this is my live stream on creative coding and machine intelligence and many other things that have to do with creativity, automation, podcasting, writing, and many other things. So a reminder that you can like this video if you want to support the work that I'm doing here with these tutorials and these playlists and the podcast and stuff. And subscribe if you want to get notified when I go live next or when I upload new videos. You can also get to know that on the Discord community. This is a Discord server that you can access with this invite at none other than Discord with the QR code or with the URL right there below. All right, so last week we saw a recap on this React application. So if you need to catch up, Live 57 is the one that you should be watching. I went through Perfect Freehand, which is the library developed by Steve Reed, open source on GitHub that we're using, and also some other libraries that we're using for keystrokes and state management and other things. As always, I would love to hear from you. We're really close from releasing an episode with Jordan Grace, already edited. We just need to push the release button and prepare a few things. And you can send us questions about that episode when you listen to it or any previous episodes at gettingsimple.com/ask. These are the community goals and the live goals. And we're going to focus today on continuing developing this one, how to build a collaborative AI sketching platform with many features. You can go to past live streams if you want to learn more about what the rationale behind this is. And we have a playlist I'm going to mention. I can mention it right now. So this playlist is the one that we're building in the live stream over the last day. So what are we doing today? We are going to continue with the AI sketching project, and we're going to get hands-on coding really soon with the React application. I'm going to make an intro as always, and I'm going to introduce what we're going to be doing today. And yeah, so let's get started with that. Okay, so I'm here. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is a work session of the Intelligence and Sketching playlist, where, as you might know already, we're building a collaborative AI sketching platform. And specifically today, we're going to do a hands-on coding session. And specifically today, we're going to do a hands-on coding session to deploy this application to the web. We're going to use technologies like Nginx and React and Node, and we're going to use DigitalOcean and a custom domain that we have to put the application online. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm also going to introduce this video, deploying React apps. Okay. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this video is a quick overview on how you can deploy your React applications using DigitalOcean. We're going to use technologies such as Node.js and Nginx, and we're going to have an application that runs on a custom domain and can be accessed by anyone on their browser. Let's get started. All right, so now let's get to code. If you connect online, drop a message on the live chat. I would love to hear where you're connecting from, how you found us. And as I said, I'm going to start recording right now. All right, so let me recap here on the goals of today's live stream. This is live 58, and let me zoom into here. And yeah, so these are goals that we set last week. So we wanted to merge the Perfect Freehand and the other application that we have with esbuild, create serve, RKO, and hotkeys. We want to serve the React app online for anyone to be able to use on their browser using DigitalOcean, right? So they would be able to go to Google Chrome, type our URL, and then go. We had to decide on a subdomain. I think at the moment, just to test and we can quickly update it, we're gonna run it at live.suggestivedrawing.com. That will be representative of the website that we're doing here on the live stream, and we'll be able to have it as a development environment. And I have a few things here that we're gonna use during this live stream. All right. Okay, so how do we get started? I have a few URLs in here. So if you're not familiar with DigitalOcean, there is livestream 19. That's at nonodoma/live/19. And it covers a bunch of the things that I know how to do with DigitalOcean. We have detailed chapters in here. So DigitalOcean invite, what is DigitalOcean, how to sign up, the sites I'm hosting there, services, droplets and spaces, many things that you can do if you want to get introduced more to what DigitalOcean is. Today I'm going to loosely mention a few things that we're doing with DigitalOcean, or that I'm doing, and that we're going to be using in this live stream. So I have a few notes here. So how do we get started? First we'll just understand what we have in DigitalOcean already. So I'm gonna click here. This is gonna open a live project. So this is a project I have here. So in DigitalOcean, in my account, I have my projects. I have my personal projects here, Getting Simple, and then live. I created this one for the live stream. So I've created, before we got started with this recording, I got to create this Live 58 Node.js Ubuntu Droplet, and this is its IPv4. And we could directly write that IP address on the address bar, and then we get this dummy page that tells us what we need to do to replace what's already there on the Droplet with our own website, right? It tells us that if we SSH into the Droplet, we can modify whatever is inside of the HTML folder, and we access this here, right? And to see results live by calling p2m restart hello. All right, so I do have a at the moment of creation of that Droplet, I actually set my public SSH key to be able to log into that Droplet, right? So by having that IP, I can do SSH root at, right? So I can run this command, which is SSH root, which is the username that I'm going to be using, and then the IP of the server. So I can click on enter, and we get access to the Droplet, right? So let's do that once more so you see it. So I can exit the Droplet with the exit command. So I'm gonna run the same command once more. So I click here, and now we enter, right? So it says welcome to Ubuntu 20.04. And this is just a dummy Droplet that I've created to test, but this is it would be the same environment that I'm going to be deploying on my DigitalOcean account. So as I said before, there are two things that this Node website is telling us. One is that it tells you that all PM2 commands using the Node.js user or a second instance of PM2 will start, right? So right now we're as root, and you can see that here because this is our user. So we should actually do su Node.js to enter the Node.js user, and we are here, right? So if I go back, let's once more enter. So we enter here and we're seeing that the user is Node.js and this is our password, right? So this is actually already a security risk, right? So I'm gonna go here. So I could do Node.js. So let's actually go here. Node.js permission denied, right? So let me see if I can do with password. Okay. So let's just get back there. All right. Cool. So let's see. So I could go here to the var ww directory, and we can see there's the HTML directory is there. And if I enter the HTML directory, I can see that hello.js lives there. So we can do hello.js. We're nanoing, so we're editing here. So we can say here live 58, right? So we change this and save, and now we restart here, and this hasn't changed yet, right? So we actually have to go and enter the Node.js user, so with su-node.js, and now we can see, let's see if we can see npm2 status, right? We see with pm2, which is the npm project manager, process manager. This is a production process manager for Node.js applications with a built-in load balancer, right? So we could now call their restart. So we could do p2m restart hello, because that's the name of the current application there, and then that's restarted, and now this has already started, right? So this is serving an app here. Let me actually see, because I'm gonna delete this droplet now. Let me see one thing really quickly. All right, so I want to see if we could log into the droplet with that password that we saw of Node.js. So SSH user password. Okay, so let me just try really quickly if we can get that password just to see if that's a security risk. So here I'm gonna do permission denied public key. Okay, so I think when we create our droplet, so let's take a look at the droplet. All right. Okay, so let's read here. So this message is coming to you via a simple Node.js application that's live on your droplet. This droplet is all set up with Node.js, PM2 for process management, and Nginx. Okay, so it seems the process is fairly easy. So we're gonna try quickly to do this thing here. So we're going to enter as Node.js. We're going to go to our application. So the application is in hello. If we do this, so this title should change now. Testing here. Okay, so that works. Okay, so we have a way now. We just need to clone the the process. So let me see. So if we want to do this on another droplet, running, let me zoom into here. Let's see, what do we need to run, how to run a React app on DigitalOcean Nginx PM2. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is place our code in a directory inside of var www. Create an Nginx block at Nginx sites available and point to our sites folder, and we need to run PM2 start entry point, and then at the end save. And our application needs to be served with pm2 start, well, entry point. Okay, so let's see if I can run this locally with pm2 first. So if I open a new terminal window here, pm2, do we have it? pm2. Okay, so I'm gonna install that locally, install globally pm2. All right, so now we have pm2. Let me see, we have pm2. Okay, so I guess we can, so this allows us to start processes. So pm2 start, and all right, so if we try to get, so let's go to our desktop directory and do git, so git clone our live repo. Okay, so we can go to our live directory and then we have the project here. Let's see where we have the drawing app, for instance. So no, actually we're gonna take not the drawing app, but the one that had from last live stream, we saw this application, the esbuild react.ts v2, because we have set up many things here like create, serve, and esbuild to build the application and serve it. And yeah, so let's go to that directory. The first thing we can do, so this is 0047 and that. And if we do npm start, what happens? Yarn start. Oh, we need to do npm install. Okay, and now we do npm start, and now we have this here. Okay, so this is the app that we're gonna be trying to serve online on DigitalOcean. All right, so what do we do here? So we are saying that we can do npm start here, and port 5000 was in use. I have a post online on why that is, I think on Monterrey. Okay, so here, so if we do this, so what are we starting? So if we look at the project, let's see what the npm start command is actually doing. So it's doing node esbuild config dev dsc. Okay, so esbuild config. All right, so let's try not to do dev. Let's try to do pm2 start, and then we'll do esbuild config in s. Okay. Error require ESM requires model not supported. Instead change the so it's node. It's doing node. Right, I didn't anticipate this. Cool. So let me see. So we, every time we do this, okay, so this is not a Node.js, it's a normal application. So what if we do we need Node? That's the thing. Maybe we don't. pn2 start dist. So let's try dist. All right, so the application started, but I don't think. All right, so let's do one thing. Let's try to clone to my other droplet this application and see if we can simply serve it with PHP, because this is just an entry point and this is just JavaScript built for the browser. All right, so I'm gonna destroy this droplet that we did here for Node. All right, so let's say that we clone the livestream folder here to my DigitalOcean droplet, and we go to the same directory that we have right now, right? So we do npm install in here. Oh, npm install. Let's see what happens. All right, so can we do npm start now? All right, so that is serving there, and this is serving for live reloading. But if we look at the dist directory, we already have our application bundled and compiled there, right? So in these directories, I'm going to open another window now. And what we can do actually here is that I can go to, and I'll explain what I'm doing in a second. So I'm going to my Nginx blogs. I'm going to suggestivedrawing.com. I'm copying that to live.suggestivedrawing.com. And I'm editing that live.suggestivedrawing.com. All right, so this here, apart from having this www dot suggestivedrawing.com, it has the normal suggestivedrawing.com domain, right? So we're gonna take out all appearances of the triple W one, and all right, and we're gonna point here. So in this folder that is pointing to another application, we're gonna change for where we've cloned that. So this is this directory, right? We'll remove this here, and actually our application is at dist. So right now we do have suggestivedrawing.com. So I'm gonna do, you see here there is this replace command. So I'm gonna do control \, and this is gonna tell me search to replace. So I'm gonna write here suggestivedrawing.com, and I'm gonna replace with live.suggestivedrawing.com. It asks me, so I press all, and now you can see that all of the appearances of suggestivedrawing.com have changed to live dot. And let me actually save that and check something here to see if, okay, so that's good. And all right. I'm gonna try and check something. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is try to see what we need to do to make this actually work, because we definitely don't have SSL certificates yet from Certbot. And yeah, okay, so let's say if you do run the Nginx-t command, you can see if the configuration that we've done is good. So we could say, okay, system ctl restart Nginx. So Nginx restarts. Let me see that I haven't broken everything. Okay, and now what we need to do is say to Certbot that we have a new domain that is live.suggestivedrawing.com. Right, so let's encrypt is down. So this just happened. There will be an API runtime of up to 10 minutes beginning shortly. Okay. Okay, I guess we'll have to not use HTTPS at the moment. And also I forgot that we need to do this. So we need to activate the basically make a symbolic link. So this command makes a symbolic link, and we're specifying here the file. So let me see if I can make this more visible. So let's see this command, right? So symbolic link of this file in this directory. So when we publish that, now we can do this, and now it tells us syntax is still okay. So I'm going to restart Nginx once more, and we'll check that everything's good. Okay, so if we do live.suggestivedrawing.com, site can be reached. Server IP address could not be found. And this is because this domain doesn't point anywhere. And so I'm gonna go to the page to manage the suggestivedrawing.com domain. And all we have to do is create a subdomain. How do we create a subdomain? At least in DigitalOcean, you just have to click here, add an A record. We do write our subdomain. So this is live dot, and it just autocompletes with the domain. And here we select the IP address of our droplet. This is, 600 divided by 60. That's 60 minutes. And that means that the time to leave for the configuration is 60 minutes. That way it's going to refresh every hour. But if you are going to keep this for the long run, you probably want something more like 86,400, right? Here we have this to the half, which is 24 hours for the main CNAME. But yeah, so we'll leave it as is right now. So we'll create this record. So now every time the live.suggestivedrawing.com domain is hit, it's going to be directed to our droplet. Let's see what happens when we refresh now. Nothing happens here. All right, so what about HTTPS? Nothing. Okay, so live.suggestivedrawing.com, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what if we do ping the domain name? Okay, so there is a problem here that I've tried to ping or to access the domain before the configuration was actually set, right? So what we're gonna do is just try to ping it from my DigitalOcean droplet to see, you know, it actually is pinging the right directory, but I was too quick to try on my machine. All right, move permanently. We can probably go to HTTPS. No alternative certificate. All right. So that's working, and we need to see when the DNS is going to be refreshed. Okay, let's try with this command, kill DNS. Let's see. All right, so I've killed the cache of the DNS domains and with this command, and now when we ping live.suggestivedrawing.com, we actually get the IP of the droplet. So let's see what happens when we put it here. Well, let's just copy from here, put it here. All right, so it's telling us that this is not secure because we haven't yet got the Let's Encrypt SSL certificate that I was meant to be installing, but I'm gonna proceed even if it's unsafe. Awesome, so this is great. So we have the application here, and probably now with what we've learned, we could remake this tutorial in a more fluid way so that people can learn from it faster. But here's what we learned. We had our live application at github.com/nonoesp/live in the folder 47. What this project does with this esbuild config is that actually builds the application and refreshes it live while we're developing. But at every time, inside of, I think if outside of the source code, it actually builds the code into a dist folder. And that dist folder we can see in here, right? So if I am to remove this folder, right? So let's remove it. Let's see what happens. And now I can go to my terminal. I could do npm start, and every time I start, right, this starts serving, but you see that this folder has showed up. So let's do that once again. So I'm gonna run this command below, but quickly, right, I'm gonna press enter now and see how this folder shows up. It contains our CSS, our bundled JavaScript file, and our index.html. And we are serving that online simply with PHP, right? Because we're just serving HTML, the browser loads the JavaScript and the CSS, everything works. So that means that we have now this URL. Whenever Let's Encrypt gets fixed, we will get to be able to request an SSL certificate, so we don't see that unsecure URL thing. All right, so let me actually try that again just to see what happens. So let me close things. All right, so in here, and one thing we need to do is so find out how to build our app instead of serving. Okay, so let me see quickly if on the project that we used as an example, we have another script. Let me see. So let's see just really quickly. If I come here to the desktop live 0047, what we're doing is npm start. And this is actually running Node.js and specifying that we're on development mode with TypeScript. Let's see what happens if I do esbuild config without anything else. All right. So let's delete this. Let's do Node. Does this change in any way? Is dev server with dev? Okay, so we could set here minify and then run the build. All right, so now this gets minified and this is more suited for production, which is great. Okay, so we can set that up in here as well. Okay, so let me... Great, so that's nice. And let's see what else is here. Great, so you can see that create serve, which we have here, the serve part is only run when we have the dev flag. So it's dev server, is dev server. That doesn't really happen when we are, when we are just compiling. So we have now an easy way to build, and I guess we could build this application if we were to put the build flag, for instance, so the production flag. So we could do something like this, right? So we could do something like this, prod, and right now nothing's gonna happen, but we could have a flag here. So we could say production and put here prod. And now we could say this production, say building for production. Imagine that we do this, right? So now we could run the same thing. So let's take this out so nothing really happens. But if we do, now we can get this build for production message, right? Why would we want that? So we could use that. This is production flag, not just to log, right? But we could use it here, minify is production. And yeah, so now if we do this, if we build normally, we get this file which isn't minified. And if we do this prod, it gets minified. Component high in the tree to provide indicator. Error generating stack. Well, I guess that also works, right? Okay. Great. So maybe we want to do a different version, right? Like maybe we want to create a different version of this repo with the changes, so we keep the 47 version different, so like basically as it was. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this 47 directory to 00, or rename it to, what is this, 58. And okay, and we can git check out 47 to leave everything as it was. So now I've simply added a new folder, like folder 58, and we can get into there and edit that on Visual Studio Code. Cool. All right, so here we have V1 and V2, and now we're gonna have V3 on 00458. And I guess all right. Great, so we could refactor this file, but for now we just, we don't really need anything else. But what I'm gonna do is, now that we have this prod thing, I'm going to commit that. So basically say add esbuild react ts version 3. And inside of our server, because we had this repo here, we can get back to the repo. We can discard any changes we've done. We can remove the node models that we've installed there. And now we can git pull origin master just to pull the changes. Git remote. So let's see, just git pull the current branch, which probably is main, right? Git branch main. Okay, so now we have the 58 folder. So we're gonna go to 58. We do the same as before, npm install. And I just want to, the only thing we've done right now is that we've copied the folder and we've added the build flag, so the production flag, to build our code. And maybe what we can do as well is here, so maybe build and do node esbuild config mgs prod. I want to see, let's take a look at what this TypeScript or TSC flag is. Esbuild TSC flag. I'm not sure if that's TypeScript type checking. Just run TSC separately. All right, so let's actually add it. Let's see if that also works. So with this command here, this build command, now npm build is going to execute this shorthand. So it's going to be a shorthand for this. So again, now we can do npm build. So npm run build, and cannot find model. Of course not. Typo. All right, and npm run build, and now we get this production build. So if we do run the other command again, so Node.js esbuild without anything else, we get this bundle without being minified. So I'm gonna do once more npm run build, and we get this minified. Okay, so let's see, we've changed just that. So we can press Ctrl+Shift+G on Mac at least. I think Visual Studio Code, we have added that line. So 58, add npm run build command for production. Would you like to stage all your changes? Yeah, okay. So we didn't stage it. Okay, so now from my droplet, I can pull the changes once again. Okay, so we're getting the changes to that file. And now we can do here, well, let's see, you know, we don't have the dist folder. So if I do grep dist, there's no dist folder. So if I do npm run build in here, that builds, and now we can see that the dist directory is there and that it contains our bundle, our JS, and Node. And I can do nano dist bundle.js, and I see that this is minified. This, I'm not sure why this is happening, if this cannot be minified or what, but the, you know, the copyright and some other things are not minified for some reason. All right, so our application, let's see if Let's Encrypt is operational. Okay, so it seems like it's fixed now. So let's diverge a bit. Let's go back to root and do Certbot, Nginx, domain, suggestive-drawing.com. Okay, saving debug, new certificate. Okay, so now this means that Let's Encrypt is working for us and that we're going to be able to create our SSL certificate. So I'm going to press 2 to force redirect all of the access to SSL. And now we should have that. Note that now it might not work directly for me because it was already marking this as not secure. I'm going to press here Command-Shift-R. And it's still not safe. And now when we open a new tab, you can see this lock here with HTTPS, and now you can see that the connection is secure, certificate is valid, and now anyone can see that we have a certificate issued and expiring in 3 months, right? Yep, and that is being issued by Let's Encrypt. All right, so we have our SSL certificate now, and this is working. The thing that we can see here is that our bundle, so if I zoom into here, our bundle is not minified. And even though it is minified in our dist folder, right? So what's happening is that we need to update our Nginx block, the one that we created at the beginning. So I'm going to edit that one. So that one is at etc Nginx sites available. It's already installed. So I just need to edit it, right, with nano. I press, and then we have that here. And you just have to remember that here we actually set this other folder. So I'm gonna go and press here where it is. I'm gonna go to 0047, and then in here I'm just gonna say 58, and this should be v3. And I'm not sure if this works off the shelf or if I have to, yeah, so I have to probably run systemctl restart Nginx. And with that, I refresh. Now this is minified, and this is also minified now. Okay, so now we're deploying our latest application. This is live.suggestive-drawing.com. It has undo and redo stacks, and you know, everything that we coded last week. Any changes that we do now, we're going to be able to have there online. This probably would benefit from a better tutorial that, you know, that shortens a bit the time in which we've done that. So we've done this in 55 minutes. So 55 minutes so far. And I expected it to be shorter, but yeah, long story short, I thought we were going to have to do this with Node.js and we, Nginx and Node.js and PM2, which is the project, the process manager for production, but we didn't have to. The process manager, actually I didn't mention, but that is a tool that allows you to run any process on the background. So any node process on the background. It actually works with other runtimes. I don't remember. But yeah, so I'm gonna take a quick break and we'll get going. So let's review this goals. All right, so this is done at the moment. This is a work session. I'm not sure. Maybe it makes sense that we now record a shorter tutorial where I go through the steps faster. So we need to have an application, right? So create. Let's see if we can list the steps that we've done to release this in order to record a quick tutorial. Wait, is this okay? Whatever. So we could create another subdomain actually and do the tutorial. So okay, so these are the steps that we could follow to do that, and I think we can record in a bit. Okay, so we have a slide here. All right, so let's have a break and I'll come back soon. Have a break and I'll come back soon. Okay, we're back. It seems that we have sound. Okay, so let's continue with what we were doing. Okay, so the goal here should be the sample domain, setup domain to point to your droplet. And we're gonna do here test. So, or let's do something. Well, test.suggestivedrawing.com. Okay, so let's just do that one. And as soon as you have a droplet, domain, and app. Okay, so the process would be that we're gonna, we have the DigitalOcean account, we have a droplet, we have a domain, and we have app code. And the app code is gonna be at, in this case, at live 58. Right, so we have our application code in here. Okay. Okay. So if everything's okay, so we're gonna close everything. Okay, so I'm gonna shut up so this is easier to edit afterwards. I'm just gonna prepare everything that I need to record the tutorial. Let me check something really quickly. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. So let's make this big. Okay. Hi everyone, it's Hi everyone, it's Ono here, and this is a quick overview on how you can deploy React applications or actually any other applications that involve HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with DigitalOcean. How to put them online, how to serve them inside of a Droplet. We're going to be using Nginx and your own custom domain or subdomain. We're assuming you have some application code already, and we're going to see that it's easier than it seems. Without further ado, let's get started. Without further ado, let's get started. All right, so let's close this. So the first thing that you're gonna need is to have application code. This is some app that we know that is already running and can be built into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and can run in your browser at least locally. In my case, I have my code on GitHub already. This is a repository that you can access at github.com/nonoesp/live. And I'm going to clone this locally. I have my desired folder at the folder 58 and then esbuild React TypeScript version 3. This is the code. And as I was saying, let's clone it. I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to clone https github.com/nonoesp/live. Once that's cloned, we're going to access that directory and I'll open it with Visual Studio Code. We access the directory and I have a shorthand for code dot that opens Visual Studio Code for me. You can see that here, okay, actually, let's go back. I'm going to access folder 58 in our project and I'm going to open that on Visual Studio Code. On Visual Studio Code, I just want you to see the directory has the source of our application. So this is a React application. We have our entry point, our React app, and many other components and things. And we have package.json, which will define our commands and our dependencies. What's important for this tutorial is that this has a start command to serve the application in development mode locally and a build command that allows us to build this application for production with code minification. That's the one that we're going to use. The logic behind this specific app is using esbuild and create serve to serve the application locally, and you don't need to care about it that much right now. All you need to care about is that if we see the directory doesn't contain any distribution file folder, but as soon as we run npm run build, the application is going to be built and minified Okay, so I need to go back. So to get started, the first thing that we need to do is npm install. Our dependencies for this project are going to be installed in the node models directory, as you can see here. Now we run the npm run build command, and all our minified build compile code is going to go into a folder called dist. If I open the dist folder, you can see that it contains our index.html, our bundle.js, and a bundle CSS. You can see what this looks like inside. We can see what this looks like inside of Visual Studio Code. This here's our index.html file, which is loading bundle CSS and bundle JavaScript. Those are here and are minified. This is our JavaScript code and this is our CSS code. That is all you need to care about this application. We can preview this application with npm start. We can preview this application with npm start. It will tell us where the local URL that we need to access is to see this application running on my machine. This is the application that we're going to be deploying. We can have a concept of state and do reduce stack and whatever logic you want to code into your application. But the important thing is that on your server, you're going to run npm run build. Let's see how to do that. All right, so the first thing, we know where our application is. Now we need to choose a domain or subdomain that we're going to point to a DigitalOcean Droplet, that is a Linux server that can host an application and serve it. Here I have the configuration panel inside of DigitalOcean for suggestivedrawing.com. This is a domain that I own, and in a different video, we've seen how to do the same process with live.suggestivedrawing.com. Right now, I'm going to create another record for test.suggestivedrawing.com. For that, we have to go into our domain panel, choose the domain that we want to edit, and go into create a record. In this menu, you're going to see that you have these three parameters. So we have enter a host name. So we're going to enter here test, and you'll see that DigitalOcean autocompletes with test.suggestivedrawing.com. Inside of will direct to, we just choose the IP of our droplet. You could specify a custom IP here if you want to point it to a host server that is somewhere else. But for now, we're just going to choose our DigitalOcean droplet. And for time to live in seconds, TTLS, we're going to leave it at 3600. We'll click on create record, and you'll see how the record is successfully created. We can see that now we not only have live, but also test.suggestivedrawing.com. If you want, you can verify that that has worked by pinging the domain name. And we can see that the IP address that our domain is pointing to is the one that matches our droplet. All right, so now we need to enter our droplet and clone our code, and then make something that is called an Nginx block. So configure Nginx to route a connection that is coming into your server via the test.suggestivedrawing.com name into the folder where you have your distribution files or your application. Those, let me remind you, are the ones that we built that are called bundle CSS, bundle.js, and index.html. All right, so for me, at least, I have the possibility of SSAing into my droplet with this command. So once I enter, I can see the code in my server and I can access my user, and I have access to my repository of websites, right? So repository I'm just calling is just a directory. So inside of the var www directory, I'm going to do the same that we did before. I'm going to git clone https github.com/nonoesp/live. This will clone the same app that we had before we can access it with cd live 0058 and then the name of your application. We'll see the same files that we had before. We have to do the same two steps. npm install first, that will download all the dependencies of JavaScript Node dependencies to the Node models directory, and once that's resolved, we can run the npm start or npm run build. We'll run here the npm run build command, and we'll see that after that runs, we have this directory as we had before with our 3 files that are the ones that compose our application. All right, our domain doesn't work yet because we haven't told our server that when the test.suggestivedrawing.com domain is called, it needs to load this application. If we do that, the application should work. So I'm going to exit the username that I have here, and I'm going to go to the etc Nginx sites available directory. Inside of this folder, I have many domains configured. I can call ls and then take a look at suggestivedrawing.com to see the ones that relate to the project that we're doing right now. Inside of that folder, I have many domains configured. I can list the ones that have to do with suggestivedrawing.com. And you can see that we have live.suggestivedrawing.com and suggestivedrawing.com. So for ease of this tutorial, I'm just going to clone the live one into test.suggestivedrawing.com. Now we'll be able to edit that file with nano. So I can do nano test suggestivedrawing.com. Inside of this file, we have a set of configurations. Some of them come from Certbot that we'll use later to create an SSL certificate for your website, so it's secure. And we can see there are references to the live.suggestivedrawing.com domain, right? I have one here. We have another one in here, and there might be others like this ones, right? There is one handy command here that is replace. So if we press on Control / I can search. So now we'll do here live.suggestive, for example. We're going to replace that with test.suggestive. We press A to replace all, and now you can see that everything has been replaced already according to the domain name that we have, we desire or we want to install. So you can see that here before I was already pointing to that folder. So you need to set the root of your application to the directory where the distribution files of your app, the ones that are already built into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, are located. The only thing I'll do here is that I'm going to remove these SSL certificates because they don't really exist yet. They are ones that were pointing before to live.suggestivedrawing.com, but now we need to generate new ones for test. Okay, what do we do right now? We have the Nginx block in its place. We have the React application code cloned, and we've done the setup of the domain in DigitalOcean, right? Those 3 things. Now we need to enable that domain block in Nginx and verify that it's not breaking our configuration, and then restart Nginx so it actually loads. All right, so a few things here. The first thing is to create a symbolic link with our file of the Nginx block in a way in which Nginx is actually going to read it, right? So we'll do lns, we'll point to our block, which is here, and then we'll put the path of where the domains that are enabled live, right? So symbolic link of our Nginx block to the folder where Nginx enabled blocks live, right? So we put that there. We now just run nginx-t. It tells us that our configurations are good. So now we need to systemctl restart Nginx. This resets or restarts Nginx, so it loads new files. All right, so that's done. Now we're going to try to go into a new tab. Let's open here. Now we'll go into a new tab, and we're going to write here test.suggestivedrawing.com. We'll press enter, and we'll see that the connection is not private. we can still go there, right? We can load and see, and we can say that this has been successful because our application is working, but it's not secure. There is no valid certificate for this domain name. How do we do that? We can do that with something called Certbot. It's a bot that enables you to maintain your certificates up to date and generated. And what I'm going to do is, anywhere that you are on your Droplet with the root user, we can do the following command: certbot --nginx, because we want to configure an nginx block -d, and now we just put our domain name, test.suggestive-drawing.com once more. I press here. Now Nginx is going to, so Certbot is going to request a certificate from Nginx, and it will ask us the behavior we want when we go into the HTTP URL, right? So you can either use an option that says no redirect or redirect. For redirect, we just have to input number 2 and press enter. And now we can see here that we've been congratulated because your certificate has already been created. Before we check on the website, what I'm going to do is go to the Nginx sites available and then go to the test suggestive drawing domain, right? We open this file, and the part that I deleted before of the SSL certificate has been added here again. And as you can see, there is a note that says managed by Certbot. Certbot actually, if we put the --engine, has the capability of editing our Nginx blocks in a way that it adds the configurations that it needs to ensure that our domain works with our certificate, with HTTPS and SSL security. So we close that. Once more we open our tab. You see that this says it's not secure. I'm going to open on a new tab, and now we have this lock here that says that the connection is secure and that we have a valid certificate. So we open that valid certificate. We see that test.suggestive-drawing.com is valid, can be trusted, and in the details you can see that this was generated with Let's Encrypt. And here you can also see the expiration date and the creation date of your certificate. So now you could enjoy your application. It's live, anyone can access it. And in this case, it's a React app that has state management, has undo and redo stacks, and also has commands to do separate things, and also has shortcuts to do different things. Okay, that was an overview on how to create a subdomain on DigitalOcean, how to point it to your Droplet, and how to serve a React application or any HTML, JavaScript, CSS application that you have on the web live with SSL certificates and HTTPS. Leave comments if you learned anything from this video. If it was helpful, I would love to know. And remember that you can like this video if you want to support the channel and the work that I'm doing here with these tutorials and playlists, that you can subscribe if you want to get notified when I upload new videos or when I go live next. Thanks a lot for watching. It was Nono Martinez Alonso here. You can join us in Nono de Masa's Discord and the community. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. All right, so that was, and hello, Bea. I see that Bea has connected online today. And this is just, we've done what we wanted to do. So now we have a deployment there. We can have a test.suggestive-drawing here, which is pretty cool. I mean, we have a test and like a test environment or something. And we also have the live environment. And I guess we could have live Nono as well to play with things. But yeah, anyhow, we have that. We haven't merged the two applications yet, but that should be fairly easy. And yeah, so I think this makes it for today, unless anyone has any comments or any questions. And let me see. All right, so I'll wait for a bit in case I think of something that we could do today. And we'll wrap up fairly soon, I think. Okay. Okay, so at least we got that recorded. I think we didn't do everything that we could have done today because I knew that we wanted to merge the perfect freehand app and the other one, but I think that I'll either do that offline or we can probably do the next live stream. Not sure when that's gonna happen. Maybe next Thursday. Okay, so let me see here. Oops. Okay, so I'm testing as well a few screens today because I was playing around with the lighting settings last week, and I don't know if I got it right or not. If this is good. I'm looking for podcasting as well. We have podcast this weekend, and I'm in the midst of releasing an episode with Jordan Gray. So I guess what are we gonna do next week? Maybe we just put this there. Okay, so let's put this on the Discord. Okay, and I think what we can for sure do is wrap up wrap up the, what is this? The playlist video, right? Oh, hello, Juanda. How's it going? I just finished recording some tutorials. I was thinking we need to catch up at some point. How's everything? Okay, so what I was gonna do in here is so sharing this. All right, so that's there. And yeah, let me record an outro for the playlist. Well, thanks for watching. This was one more session of the Intelligence and Sketching playlist. You can go to our playlist and see many other videos that have to do with collaborative AI sketching, building React apps to interact with drawings and do many, many things, and also how to train and how to use machine learning models that have to do with manipulating drawings, design, and other things. We've played with StyleGAN, Pix2Pix, virtual sketching, pixel to style to pixel, many things. So yeah, let us know what you think, and I hope you get something out of it. Before you go, I'd like to remind you that you can like this video to support the work that I'm doing here, and you can subscribe if you want to get notified when I go live next or when I upload new videos. You can join the community. This is a Discord server. There are many channels and many people that are sharing things that they're doing and commenting on things on the live stream and other things of the projects that they're doing. None of the más as Discord is a URL you have to go to sign up, or that QR code up there. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. All right, so that is an outro. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Let's wrap up here. Anything that we can do here before we go? Maybe, well, I have a command here just to show something that I use normally, the unma command, right? Let's see if this works here. Unma. So it expands to this command, and if I click both, oh, okay. So I'm trying to run stuff in a DigitalOcean Droplet. Okay, so let's just go to the desktop. Let's remove. So have we done anything on the live repo? No. Okay, so let's remove the live repo. And yeah, what I was saying, I have this unma command. So I have this unma command. Not name. I have this unma command. If I click on it, all my screens get a different background, right? I can customize. It's just text expansion, but I customize which background I want. And also I have a script that I created that sets automatically the size of the font that I'm using on Visual Studio Code. So this is kind of to unma to get out of the ma live stream. And if I were to do go ma, so to go into ma mode, this makes the font a bit bigger and changes the background to the one that I use during the live stream. Let's see if that actually works, right? So if I click go live, actually, that is setting the font to 18. There's some other things that I'm doing there when I go live. But at the end of the day, if I do unma, it actually gets back to normal, to what I use for software development, right? And the background and stuff. But I will have to do fs, which is just running that command to make the font bigger, right, for the live stream, right? So let's actually try that out in full screen. So if I get my console here and we have this script, open editors, what do we have? Oh, I've removed everything. Okay, so how do we, maybe we just edit this file here. I just edit this on Visual Studio Code so you see. All right. So what I wanted to do, just get the terminal out here. So we have code, right? We have code there. You can see my background. Maybe let's clip it here and close terminal. So I center this window and I have this script that I can set the font for everywhere on the Visual Studio window, right? Just with an ampersand fs, let's put it to 24 so you see something and I explain. Okay, so I do ampersand f and then s, right? This expands to this, and then there is a number at the end that was 18. That is the font throughout my Visual Studio configuration, right? So I can do fs, I don't know, like 25, and then all my font goes big, but not only on the command line, but also on the code, right? So I could say, okay, fs to 4, oh, probably that's too big. Okay, fs to 14, right? And now everything is going to be set automatically. Why do I use this, right? I have this in concert with another script. So I do, for example, when I do go ma, and then I do set the font to 18, this is usually what I do before I go on live stream, right? I click, and then my, oh, okay, so I run that and my backgrounds get configured for the live stream, and the font of the Visual Studio Code terminal and editor get to a bigger size so people can see it, right? So if I were to say unma, then my background goes back to normal and the size of the font in Visual Studio gets back to what I use normally to develop on this 4K screen, right? So yeah, that's just a tip, and I can do go ma only to set the background to the live stream, and I can do fs to set the font to whatever I want only, right? The one of the background, so let's do unma, so we go normal, and let's put the size of the font to live stream. The unma command, right? So if I put it here in big, so let's do unma. This is just, if we kind of take a look at what it is, this is mainly this command for both screens. So this is saying run this Apple script tell application system events to set picture of first desktop, right? So this is the main screen, to, and then you pass like an image, or this is a dynamic image that changes depending on the time of the day, that comes with macOS Monterey. And the second one is a bit more complicated, I would say. It's basically running TypeScript node with a script, an index.ts that I did as VSCode settings, and saying, okay, save my settings to this place where I save my settings, and the font size is 18. The magic behind this, and now because we are streaming, I'm gonna say go ma, so we have the background of the stream. Because we're streaming, we put that one. And now we have this font size, and the arguments are font size, F, and settings, S. Settings is the location of Visual Studio Code's settings JSON. And what we actually do is that we load the settings, we alter these three things, the terminal integrated font size and the editor font size and debug console font size, these are just parameters on a JSON file, change it to the font size, and then we save them to the settings path, right? We stringify that JSON and save it to that path. And then there is another thing here. Here I build year, month, date, and write a file with the contents of the actual JSON, right? So the settings contents, and append that. Why is that? That's because if something breaks during the development of this script or for some random reason, let's take a look at that. And that is just a series of backups. These are really tiny files, but there are many of them. So if I open that directory, we have all the settings or the history of when I've executed those commands, right? And I guess many times we'll see them on days of live stream or some other days, right? But yeah, this is just a set of files that we have after every command execution. All right, and that was just the kind of the the tip of the day, I would say. And because nobody has any questions and comments, and I don't have anything else to do here today, we'll see you in the future. And yeah, thanks for being there. We're gonna stop now. Hit me up on Twitter at nonoesp or Instagram, Discord, whatever. Let me know what you think. Bye.